Hey guys, welcome back to Archangel RC. Today I will focus on the DragonLink Advanced V3 system since I got it and tested it recently, and so far I am very happy with its performance. The main feature that intrigued me was the telemetry option, which is also able to carry a mavlink data stream back to the ground at great distances over the same frequency band, which essentially would remove the need to use a separate telemetry radio and have to worry about yet another frequency. You can find the full specification on the official website. I have left some links in the description below, so make sure you check them out. Now, up until this moment, I have been using the FrSky R9M system running with the EU legal 868 MHz firmware on it, and I have been exceptionally happy. But thought I'd give the DragonLink a try exactly because of its seamless mavlink integration that also did not require any DIY to get it to output to a computer. So far I have the system installed on two models, the XUAV Clouds and the MyFlyDream Crosswind Mini. The Clouds has the large receiver with full power telemetry, while the Crosswind Mini has the micro receiver that only has the 25 mW telemetry capability, but on that one I was more interested in testing range more than dealing with telemetry, as it is also running the MyFlyDream Crosshair autopilot system and I have yet to determine how that thing works and outputs mavlink data. As for the Clouds, it is equipped with the Matek F405 wingboard running RDU plane, so it outputs full mavlink stream and would be much easier to test as I'm also familiar with the firmware. So the full-size receiver did eventually find its way to the Clouds, but before that, while examining it, I did notice one of the PCB components was weirdly mounted, I guess a slight error during the assembly process, and it was easy to fix with the soldering iron and the thin tip. I also made some custom cables to fit the 405 wingboard and things got connected quite quickly. The setup procedure for both the TX module and the receivers using the provided PC software is quite easy and quick, but you do need to pay some attention so you would know what you're doing, so make sure you read the user manual. That bundle can be downloaded from the DragonLink website as well. I have provided a link in the description below and I will go into more detail about this in the next video just to keep things of a manageable size here. However, even without all this programming and setting up, you can still bind the module to the receivers and use them with the stock settings, as they are pretty adequate too. Binding is very easy. You have to power on the module while holding the button. Keep holding set button until you see the blue LED come on, then release it. You will hear some beeps. Now power on the receiver and its LEDs will start to flash, which indicates a successful bind. And you can now power off both modules to save the bind. By default, the micro receiver has the RSSI and PPM outputs mapped to the last two pins on it, so you can directly connect those to the appropriate inputs on your flight controller. The large receiver actually has a dedicated pin for the RSSI, which you cannot program, but the one for the signal output can be programmed. Either way, once the receiver is bound to the transmitter module and everything is connected to the flight controller, it was now time to run some flight tests. By default, I tend to have some out-of-nowhere faith in new stuff I haven't tested, especially from reputable manufacturers, so forgive me for not doing a range test on the ground. I've always found those to work much better in the air, and here is where it gets interesting. I was itching to try out the telemetry function, so set up the large receiver in the XUAV Clouds accordingly, got telemetry running and connecting to the computer, although I did have to use a cable as the Bluetooth module would not work properly. Not a big deal anyway. So everything working and telemetry enabled, but limited to something like 200 milliwatts, I headed out, and to my surprise this actually worked. Transmitter module was at 100 milliwatts and the radio link was good, but the telemetry was also good past the 10th kilometer, which was a nice surprise. Officially, this was now the furthest I've gone with a working telemetry link, and no thanks to DragonLink. It was around the 14th kilometer where the telemetry link started breaking down, but even so, it was pretty impressive how far it went, and at full power, I'm certain it will go close, if not over 30 kilometers, with the stock antennas, which is going to be quite the accomplishment. I did keep on flying out as far as I could, but at some point the battery forced a return, although this had turned into the largest distance I've been away from home point. Shortly after, I decided to do a range test on the receiver only, but this time the micro one on the crossbow mini plane, starting again with 100 milliwatts on the transmitter module, but no telemetry this time. I flew out from the same location and in the same direction, and to my surprise, I was able to get a darn good distance away before I felt I should switch up to the 300 milliwatt option I had programmed for the second position of the switch, just in case. In any case, I always knew the limiting factor would be the video transmitter, which in this case was the AKK Dominator running at 2000 milliwatts. Well, on this flight I reached further than ever before yet again, making it out to 32 kilometers before turning back. And keep in mind this is with a $20 antenna on the receiver and a $4 antenna in the plane. Of course, the antenna tracker does help a lot during these flights. More to the point, I was happy my math worked out. Following my flights with the X2 Ultimate a while back, I had calculated that jumping up from 1200 milliwatts to 2000 milliwatts, all else being equal, should get me out to around 30 kilometers, and indeed that turned out to be exactly the case. Now, I do have to apologize for the shaky video. I had forgotten to turn on the stabilization function of the camera, and since it is not on a gimbal, it is not the best thing to be watching, but it is what it is. Only figured this out once I landed and started going over the footage, but it was a done deal by this time. The important thing is that the DragonLink system performed admirably throughout these tests, and even at the minimum power level, I was able to get out quite far with the stock antennas. Setting the system up, binding and getting it in the air is actually quite easy and straightforward. Getting telemetry working was a bit more tedious, but all of that will be covered in the next video. There was also the issue with the Bluetooth module, but as far as I understand it, now all of these sets ship with the new Wi-Fi module that is trouble-free and works every time, so I guess they have now officially addressed that issue even before I ran into it. What is important though is that I was able to get everything working, even the telemetry, so from now on it will be just a matter of optimizing the system, playing with some settings, and perhaps even getting some of those Wi-Fi modules to upgrade my TX module so I can do away with the USB cable and make things even more convenient. The DragonLink Advanced radio system is quite capable actually, and I am getting shivers if only thinking about what it could do with some better antennas and a directional one on the ground. Perhaps even attached to the antenna tracker, constantly having it pointed directly at the plane. Should alleviate any worries about radio control range. That is huge in any case, but think about the telemetry link. It will get a major boost in range, and with the optimizations in the mavlink data rates, you could squeeze even more range out of it by omitting some data from being transferred that is not critical. I am so happy to see this functionality implemented so well and working. It is something that I've been wanting to try out for quite a while, and I would really like to thank Mike Bigelow, the guy behind DragonLink, for making it possible. I can only advise other manufacturers to take notes and get to work, because this is going to be even more important in times where the focus is moving away from pure hobby and into the industrial applications of these machines. Telemetry links, etc. will be even more crucial for such flights. Now, stay tuned for the next video, as that will cover how to program the receivers, the transmitter module, how to update, how to change settings, how to get telemetry working, and hopefully will be coming soon. All links for the items shown and used can be found in the description below, and buying literally anything through them would support this channel at no additional cost to you, and you will have my eternal gratitude, as this is my full-time job. Another way you can support me is Patreon. The link is also there, and I would like to say a big thank you to all the people who have supported me so far in any way and would continue to do so. If you have enjoyed this video and found it useful, please feel free to like, share and subscribe if you haven't already, and don't forget to also hit that bell button so you can be notified when I upload a new video. Also consider following me on Facebook for more regular updates. Happy and safe flying, and I will see you in the next one.